Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Leanna, and today we're specifically talking about sourcing at a thrift store and how to make it more efficient and more beneficial for your business. So first of all, I know that sourcing is the most fun for probably 99% of us. I know I love to go into a store and browse and look and find that treasure, but not all of us have the luxury of time to do that. Some of us are on a very strict time budget. And I want to talk about how to get into a thrift store and target those areas that are going to make you money. So, number one, before you set foot outside your door to go sourcing, you have to ask yourself a couple of questions. Number one, do you really need to be sourcing? Does your business need more inventory? That's a really big question because I do believe that we all, I am one, get caught up in that treasure hunt. And I always want to be sourcing, and it's not great for my business, especially if I'm not listing those items. So if you spend, and you're spending all your time doing one thing, other things aren't getting done. So the number one question is, do you really need to get more inventory for your business? The number two question is, can I afford to get more items? Have I blown through my budget for the month? Am I spending more than what I'm making? These are really important questions because you don't want to fall into that trap of outlaying more money than you're actually bringing in, with the sort of exception of maybe taking advantage of a great sale or a great opportunity. Once in a while, it's absolutely okay to do that. It's when you're continuously doing that and you're always sort of dealing with the outflow of cash and not having any inflow of cash. Number three, are you taking advantage of any sales or coupons? I know that when we go sourcing, especially right now, because I don't really need to be sourcing, I do have items still sitting in my pile from that estate haul that I need to get listing, so I don't really need to source right now. However, yesterday was Monday. Paul and I had an appointment together that we had to go to. So I went to the cross-border shipper with him on Monday, which is not normal. And we went to the bins. Now, I wouldn't normally go to the bins because I don't need to be sourcing. But because Paul does need to source, I was like, okay, we'll take advantage. I only picked up 8 items, so it's not like I overspent or overdid it. I was really, really, really picky, and we really didn't spend that much time there. So I restrained myself, which was great, because I know that I don't need to be sourcing. And again, with that in mind, today is Tuesday. It's Seniors Day at my local VV, Value Village. And I do need something for the house. Paul installed a ceiling light in the bedroom, and I need a medallion to cover the hole that was left from the light beforehand. So I do want to take advantage of Seniors Day at my local Value Village, 30% off. And I want to do it now as opposed to even next week because the hole in the wall is driving me nuts. It's just something I look up in bed and it's like, I see that hole, I don't like it. So I'm going to go see if I can find something that will deal with that. And since we're there and Paul does need to source, I will take a couple of looks, I will take a look at a couple of sections, but I won't go all gangbusters and fill up my cart. Know when not to fill up your cart. That's the whole point of what I just babbled about. Know when not to fill your cart. All right, so you're going to the thrift store, you're going to source. You want to source with intention. I think having a game plan, knowing what sections you want to go to is really, really key in keeping your costs down and your inventory at a manageable level. So how do you do that? Well, you want to source those items that are selling. So my recommendation is go through your last month of sales, see what kind of items are selling. Are jeans selling? Are boots selling? Are purses selling? Are frying pans selling? Whatever it is. What are you selling the most of? And go to that section. Go to that section first and see if you can find other things that will sell. Always check your comps because you know what? Seasonal items do change with time. So like if I'm looking in October, maybe September was really warm and sandals were selling really well, but October's really cold. Maybe sandals not so much anymore. So always keep in mind the time of year, but look at comps, check that out, spend your time and your money with what is selling first. Poshmark does do a trend alert. That's not a bad thing to go by either. Double check the comps because you do want to make sure that your cost of goods is still going to give you a good rate of return on what they're selling for. So yes, have a game plan, know what sections you're going to target. That helps me, especially if you don't have a lot of time. If you have, if you work full time, if you have other obligations, if you only have an hour every week to source, you want to do it with as much efficiency as you possibly can, and you want to make as much money as you possibly can. So go in with a game plan. Yeah, so you go to those sections first. I know that I've targeted sections. It's like, okay, you know what? I'm only going to look at shoes and purses today. That's it. Once I'm done with that, I'm gone. I'm out of the store, regardless of what I get. I have done that before. Today, we're going to Value Village, like I said, and I am still going to look, but I think I'm going to focus on hard goods, and I'm going to do the outside of the store. So like the outside walls, so the baggy wall along one side, the men's coats I think are along the back, and then toys going up into purses and belts and stuff on that side. And that's all I'm going to look at today. The purses and belts and that are right beside the shoes. I might take a quick gander. I might just sort of look, maybe. Having that game plan is going to help me save money though. Now, when you are in certain sections, I have a few tips that help me find things faster and speeds up my time, so I don't have to spend hours in one section looking over everything. So, number one, with shoes and boots, I'm looking at silhouettes. I am looking for suede. I'm looking for leather. If it's winter, I'm looking at boots. If it's going into spring and summer, I'm going to start looking at sandals. So I'm looking at silhouettes and fabrics. I'm not looking necessarily for color, but sometimes pops of color can be a good indication. Knowing your brands and their silhouettes, like Doc Martens have a certain silhouette, Rothy's have a certain silhouette, things like that. I don't know why I put number 3 up, because there wasn't a number 3. Learning what those silhouettes look like will really help you be faster and more efficient in a thrift store, because you can just sort of go like this. Yep, nope, and that's a really good way to get through things faster. Are you going to miss things? Yes, you are, because you're trying to be more efficient, and you're not going to catch every last little thing. But it does help you, it really does. With hard goods, I look for unique items, things that sort of pop and grab my attention, and I look for colors. Colors in home goods, and I mean, some hard good items do have certain colors attached. Fiesta Wear has really nice, bright, sort of primary colors, I'm going to say. La Crusette, I can't say the word, but La Crusette has that red. And more times out of any, I pick something up like that, and it's like President's Choice brand. If you're in Canada, you know what that is. It's just a grocery store chain, and it doesn't really work. But pops of color, unique shapes, again, you're going to hear this a lot. Colors and unique shapes, things that grab your attention, absolutely. Know what the font looks like on certain brands. I know what L'Augustina looks like now because I've been searching for it. Doing your research before you hit the thrift store really does help. Using the thrift store as a research tool can really help you out as well if you have extra time to look up certain things that catch your eye just to practice. I think that's a really good thing to do. With clothing, of course, I look for fabrics, and that's a touch thing. You don't have to go even through all the hangers. You can just go like this, and sometimes you get to feel that silk, which sometimes is just acrylic or polyester, but sometimes it's silk. Cashmere, the same thing. Angora, the same thing. Wool, the same thing. You get to learn what it feels like. You also get to learn what quality feels like. So those are always a good indication that, yeah, I'm going to look that up, or no, that's just whatever. But it just saves you time going through every single last hanger, which can be a really annoying thing, especially if your thrift stores jam-pack everything in, which is annoying. But it also shows you that there's so much out there. So yeah, looking for fabric content and things like that really does help. With things like bras and shapewear, I look for new with tags, and which is really easy to do because normally they hang down lower than the store tags. So all you have to do, you have everything sort of hanging almost at the same level. You just got to go a little bit further down and look underneath to see if there's anything that has a brand tag on it, and that helps me sort of get through that section faster. I also sort of, with bras, sorry guys, but this is true, I look sort of just on the side, and I look for things that don't have underwire, because NYX bras sell really, really well, and they don't have underwire. So that's a good indication for me to look at that one particular, and that saves me a lot. I also look for sizes, so if my thrift stores don't always size them properly, so I look for the bigger sizes, because sometimes that's a torrid bra, and they can sell well as well, as long as the thrift store hasn't, marked it up. I'm talking really fast, sorry. With jeans, I'm lucky because my thrift store does hang them in a certain way that the brands are really, really visible. So all I have to do is sort of put my one hand here and just sort of put the back of the jeans invisible. I don't have to go through the hangers, just do that. And I can see the brands on the back of the waist, and it really does help. I haven't had luck with jeans lately because Value Village has been really marking jeans up, like Torrid. They want $20, which if you are shopping for yourself is a really great price. But for me and reselling, it's not. So I haven't had luck with jeans, but I like to check it out once in a while because I have found really good jeans at this store. Sweaters, you're looking, again, I'm looking for cashmere, I'm looking for wool. With men's t-shirt, I'm looking single stitch, big graphics. I don't go through them very often because I haven't found a lot of great things. So knowing your thrift stores also is a really good way to source intentionally. Knowing what you normally get in your local thrift stores. I know, for instance, my local Mission Thrift usually doesn't have great brands. They just don't. People have not been donating there for that. Once in a while it does. It's not in my regular rotation to go to. They do have great jewelry, but again, maybe once every 2 weeks I might pop in for a little while, but it's something that just hasn't been proving worth my time. So if I go spend an hour looking through the store and I'm picking nothing up, that's been happening more often, so I don't bother with the store as often. We only go to Value Village when we have the coupon or it's Senior's Day because, yes, their prices are not really helpful for reselling, so I want to save that extra money. My local Goodwill can be really good. I haven't really been going as often. They're great for dresses. I'll give them that. They're really good for dresses for some reason. And I know that when I go in there, I'm going to go look at dresses. I'm going to look at hard goods. I might take a gander at the bags because I found some good bags there. What other stores I don't go into, like half the time here we have 2 St. Vincent de Paul's and we have a Salvation Army that I don't go into maybe once every 3 or 4 months, maybe, because I don't find things there for reselling. So I just don't bother. I don't waste my time with them. So knowing in what stores what you can find is really good for your business. That way you're just more sort of in tune with what is available, and it saves you time, and you become more efficient. Now, with all this being said, going into a thrift store and browsing, sure, why not? That's not a waste of time. You can learn so much about going in and browsing. You can look up different brands. You can not be rushed and feeling anxious. You can be quiet and comfortable and, you know what, relaxed. When you're relaxed, you tend to make better decisions about what you're picking up. So I do recommend picking things up, throwing it in your cart, finding a quiet area in the store if you can, and then going through it all again. If you can go through it when you're right there in front of where it belongs, absolutely go ahead. But being relaxed and not rushed really does help. Be well fed, hydrated, see if your thrift store has a bathroom, that kind of thing is helpful. Knowing the return policies on your thrift stores is good as well. I don't think my Goodwill has one, to be honest with you. Value Village, because they do not have change rooms. I believe it's a 7-day for an exchange. You can go in and you don't get your money back, but you can exchange the item for something else of the same value. I think it's 7 days. It might be 14 though. But yeah, knowing all those things will help you source better. Anyway, that's about it for today. I think my number one tip is to actually source with intention. Have a game plan before you go in. It really does help out a lot. Let me know down below what your number one tip is if you want to share. And that is it for today. I hope everybody has a fantastic week, and I'll see you on Friday. Bye.